I cheated and I feel no remorse. I cheated on my ex, obviously it was while we were together and he never found out. I cheated on him multiple times actually, whether it was with a random hookup at a party or even one of my closest guy's friends, I can't remember the amount of times I did it. He did come close to finding me out once though. Through some divine intervention or mystical force a few of my pictures showed up on his iCloud. At a certain point in time he used one of my old phones and our iClouds were in sync or something. I have no clue how it happened, but I know it was the one incriminating screenshot that I took out my chat with a guy that showed up on his iCloud randomly. We were on a phone call and he saw the screenshot of the message where the guys was talking about my pussy or something and my ex asked who the fuck is this? I put myself on mute and my roommate helped me conjure up a lie on the spot. I jumped through hoops proving my innocence. I made a fake email pretending to be a Tinder representative saying it was a hookup from before we dated. I edited fake chats on Tinder with a fake date and origin story. I edited my Snapchat metadata to reflect my fake story. He eventually believed me. I was very convincing every time I would say I never cheat on him. He had a dream one night that I had cheated on him, and when we hung out the following day he told me. I sympathized and asked him if there was anything I could do to make him feel more secure in our relationship, and he smiled saying he loved me. Addressed every fear he had. All this to say I cheated and I don't fucking care. We've been broken up for a while now and I don't love him as much anymore, but every time he gets cocky and acts like he the shit I just wanna drop the bomb and say hey. I cheated on you almost every month of our 3-year relationship. I fucked the hottest guys at the parties you wouldn't take me to, I fucked guys you shook hands with and hung out with, and I had half of your best friends in my DMs. I would've fucked them too, but guys don't know how to keep their mouths shut. That's why they always get caught. I don't know. Sometimes I did it just because I was horny, other times it was because I was mad at him. Sometimes I fear the karma, but other than that every one of those hookups were amazing. I know you're probably gonna say I'm evil or a narcissist, which like sure okay, but I'm making this post because I came so close to outing myself, but I'm not gonna today. Comment. Oh wow. Well that's fucked up. I get the whole consensual non-consent kink, but the consensual part is crucial. I don't think of things black and white. I don't know you, so I'm reluctant to call you a villain. I don't tend to judge others ESP when I'm not affected by their actions. He had it coming in that case. No sympathy for him from me just on that basis, Alan. Kinks are different. I enjoy a lot of different bedroom activities, but always with full consent. I dated someone with BPD once. Borderline personality, I assume. Most chaotic relationship ever. But the sex was incredible. When things were hot they were on tucking fire. But she also did the whole splitting with me, common with BPD. I was either a fucking saint or the devil. Depended on the hour. BPD sufferings do have great difficulty regulating emotions. Everything is intense. Abandonment issues was prevalent with this girl. If you do have it, PLS, seek treatment and get on a good protocol. Forget the good and evil, villain or saint. Nobody is any of those things. What you did isn't the worst thing you can do to another person. It's not good, of course. But stop worrying about judging yourself in such stark unrealistic terms. The backstory is very enlightening. He took power from you so you got it back where you could. He's honestly a low-life POS. What you did to him doesn't come close to the evil he did to you. If you want to be a promiscuous slut, that's one thing. All I gotta say to a promiscuous slut is you own it, baby, and walk proudly. If that's who you are, I'm proud of you. But narcissist is a far cry from a beautiful, sensual, exotic woman. Narcissists are just a base level succubus. Can't understand normal thinking. Is this a flex? A cry for attention? A lie? A manipulation / narcissist tactic? A troll? So, cheated, manipulated, gaslit your boyfriend, whom didn't sound like he deserved any of this, to show in a long drawn out post the actual definition of a narcissist. I'm guessing he broke up with you because, being the coward or too lazy, you couldn't do it yourself. You still can't wait to drop this bomb to further continue your torment. My guess is that this is fake post to anger people. I'm sure you will attract an awesome partner in the future, or more realistically a fun STD. Your future is bright. Next story 2. He cheated on me, chose the other woman, and now he wants me to be the side piece. We began dating in March. I suspected he was unfaithful when he said he'd prefer I don't post him on social media, so we keep our relationship private. He got to meet my mom and aunt, and I got to speak to his family. We planned I visit them in July. He came for my graduation, and right after he left went for a weekend-long concert in Miami. He suggested we move in together. I was against the idea. We concluded once I land a job, I'd move out. I was wrapping up grad school when we made these plans. A week before I moved to be with him, I found out on social media he had been with another woman when he went for the concert in Miami. That very day I found out he was in Mexico with her. I confronted him and he didn't respond to any of my calls, so I ended up messaging him, and in one of my messages to him I mentioned that I understood the relationship had ended but I didn't have anywhere to go, so I'd rather stay at his till I find a job. I still moved to be with him. Biggest mistake I ever made, because I had ended my lease so I had nowhere to be. I must add that I was in the process of interviewing for a role in his state. He run with the narrative that I didn't move because of him, it was only because of my job. I told the other woman about my relationship with him. She basically told me off and stayed with him. It's been 2 months of living with him, rubbing it in my face that he chose her. I went through their texts and he told her I used him and that he loved her more. All the while he was still telling me he didn't know who to pick. I eventually woke up and walked out of the relationship. I also got the job and I start in a few weeks. He told me he wants us to keep in touch and have fun when I leave. I walked out of the conversation because I believe I am worth a committed, loyal and honest lover. As I type this, he drove 2 hours to be with her. I am jealous because I still have feelings for him, but I know I deserve better so she can have him. My question is, I want to tell her everything that happened from my perspective because I would hate to see another woman suffer. Is it worth it, or should I just carry on with my life? Comment. When you told her previously she didn't care, did she? Just walk away. You don't need any more of this drama, live on your life happily. You want to tell her your history with him so she can feel some semblance of fear and insecure in her relationship with him, not because there is some unspoken bond in sisterhood and you're out to protect her feelings. It sounds like they're both tookabas and what you say won't matter. Have some self-respect and dignity and walk away from this fuckery of a situation and work on healing and moving forward. Then leave and cut off all contact with them. Why the insistence on wanting to talk to her to warn her off? Are you going to start tracking down all his future GFs for the sole purpose of warning them about him? I get this was emotional abuse for you, but everyone has to experience life and relationships and learn on their own time. The fact that you even agreed to stay on to be a side piece for him is something you're going to have to come to terms with. You allowed him to devalue you as a person. Work on yourself and why you allowed that to happen. It's your self-worth and self-respect and desire to be happy and reciprocated in love that drives you to move forward and invest in healthy relationships in the future. Not get stuck in this situation. Dump all evidence you have off with her, then block and delete them both and move on, ghost them both and leave them in the past, taking this as a life lesson learned and know what signs to look out for in the future. Wishing you luck. In deference to her believing you or not, acknowledge your role and intentions, the whole truth, that you knew of her, and he chose her over you, and even that did not deter you from moving in with him, that you chose to continue a physical thing with him up until you had to move out. Seriously, why do you want to tell her? You want her to feel what you are feeling, you want her to stay with him knowing she is not the only one, because maybe then it'll be easier to accept that you both are foolish. You do deserve better. Never forget that. Never. This guy is a user. Know your worth and don't settle for less. It might be worth it to send her all the evidence and then block him. If you really feel you must, then just send her a screenshot of the text where he says he still wants to have fun with you, then follow with she can have him, but don't think she's special because she's not. Or better yet, just don't bother and let her learn on her own because she's not going to believe you anyway. Just live your best life. Forget him and move on, girl. You can and will find better because he seems like the type of person that only wants to please himself no matter who it hurts. You will be better off. If you need a friend, I got your back, and I know how it feels to be with someone like your ex, and I was also jealous too when I knew he was with her. It sucks. Send me a message if you need someone to talk to. Next story 3. I found something my ex-husband accused me of destroying, and I returned it. My marriage, we were both in our 30s, this is important, had problems right away. One of the manifestations was him berating me for not going to an elite university. I went to a very good undergrad and an even better grad school, had not finished at that point, but he went to one of the best schools in the country, known for graduates with a chip on their shoulder. That was really all he had on me, and I would just laugh. Even his parents told him he was being a jerk and sounded like an idiot because I had an impressive education. Something I had never felt the need to discuss before. So anyway, he became really competitive about his college and especially his friends from college, very few he was still in touch with. This was before Facebook, and he had this photo box full of memorabilia. Cardboard, no lock, or anything. I had a dozen or so myself. A normal thing would be to go through his, and mine, together and share memories and stories and bond. I didn't really care about what was in the box, and college stories are boring when you weren't there, but I would have listened. But the box became a symbol of everything wrong, with him constantly saying I'm not good enough for his college friends. At some point he forbid me to look in the box. Of course I didn't take this well. Telling me I wasn't good enough to see what's in the box was like kerosene. It got brought up in every fight. Like a death spiral of you're jealous of my friends / your friends suck and I wouldn't like them anyway. I didn't say I was the hero in this story. Fast forward through years of abuse. We moved on to more spectacular fights and the box fell pretty far down the list. Then for some reason one day he went up to the attic and couldn't find his box. He said I threw it away because I was jealous and petty. I didn't, but after a few years of this he managed to convince me maybe I did. That's how abuse works. And you threw away my box went back into heavy rotation. I begged his forgiveness. And fell into deeper into depression over the depths to which my life had sunk. Finally got a divorce. Cops, Rose, the whole nine. I healed, moved on. Years later I sold my house, it was mine before, and when I was packing up I found the damn box. I had such an emotional reaction my legs buckled. I sat on the floor and wept. My boyfriend was really sweet about it. He didn't know about the box. It's so ridiculous and I was so ashamed, but mostly I had put it all behind me by then. Until it all came rushing back. I called a mutual friend and asked him to come get the box so they could get it to him. People suggested I should throw it away out of spite, but I had something to prove. Before I turned it over, I put copies of 2 unpublished essays I wrote about what he did to me, along with a handwritten note, I knew you didn't have the balls to kill me. And I sold your D&D books. Who's he going to tell? I mean, he probably will. But then he has to admit what's in the essays, and he's the 52-year-old man bitching 10 years post-divorce that his ex-wife sold his D&D books. Comment. There's a chip on my shoulder and it's big as a boulder. With the chance I've been given I'm gonna be driven as hell. I'm so close, I can taste it, so I'm not gonna waste it. Yeah, there's a chip on my shoulder, you might wanna get one as well. It's definitely Harvard. She referenced Legally Blonde the musical. Tell me your secrets, because I went through the first year of my master's program in a field I was passionate about in undergrad and realized I would be miserable every day of my life if I actually became a therapist. I prefer the science and theory of psychology. Not doing the therapy. So I'm taking a year off to figure my shit out, and nobody is wanting to hire someone without a college degree and pay a living wage in Texas. Once I ended up at a Harvard party for some reason I can't remember. There is one guy standing around in a tie for a reason I did not know when he suddenly proclaimed it was time for him to get another cocktail. He then sauntered up to a keg with some of the worst beer ever drank in my life. Idiots. Right. I was thinking more about it, and it's not that it actually is the best, it's that it's the shorthand for the best. Harvard isn't the best law school. I don't know if it was any time recently, but they made Elwoods go there. It's the cultural shorthand for people who don't know much about high-level colleges. There's also a lot of people who got in after expecting to go there because their family went there. And the expectation of my college experience was like this, combined with being a legacy kid and having that factor into their admission. It's full of a lot of people who have a lot of expectations about the Harvard experience who might not have gotten that, and who might actually just be kind of normal. And it's surely strange to go from the maybe 18 years of expecting to go somewhere to, wait, now I went there. Now what? Being defined by I'm going to go to Harvard and that made them special. Now they're 36, and how's that going? They're your co-worker.